welcome. We're live from Xi'an, China for the World Cyber Games 2019.
No, nice. They're on the cliff! Onto the cliff! In the meanwhile, we've got Drace hiding in the back. He's going to be able to pick up the double kill.
Lich in trouble, he comes to Storm on low, Colin will use defensively, trying to save the goal!
Oh no, they're not going to be able to do it!
Look at that! He's going to end the game on the core here. We see on the core, and that's going to be game!
What's up, everybody? We're back here at WCG 2019, and we're now going to the finals of the winner's bracket here in our invitational.
That's right. It's going to be Korea against America, as it was always intended to be.
That's right.
Neeb going up against Maru, of course. Spread the word. This is going to be an excellent match. Neeb did already beat Maru in a best-of-1 on day one of this event for seeding purposes, which Neeb ended up winning overall. And here they are in the finals.
And, you know, I think everybody can agree that Maru is sort of the player who, at least on paper, is supposed to win this WCG Invitational, but Neeb is looking very solid. He seems to be in great form right now, and I think there could be a chance of an upset here.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. Like, Neeb versus Maru is always excellent games, so I think that that's something to look out for. Like, Neeb can beat Maru. This is not undoable. They played before. Neeb takes maps.
Right.
So,
best of three is very short. So let's go ahead and hop into the game here now. It's actually just loaded up. So this is Neeb versus Maru. Game one, it is, again, a best of three. Very short series. We have Maru spawning in the upper left, and that leaves us with Neeb now in the bottom right. And immediately Maru sending two SCVs out to do a proxy.
Of course he is. Maru starting this off hyper-aggressively. Guys, this is... Why am I just not surprised? I'm almost more surprised it took him this many games to proxy.
Yeah, and this could be a very short one. We'll have to see if Protoss identifies what's happening, or if he doesn't, then he's able to like hold off based off build and control.
Yeah. Well, he's scouting relatively quickly, so he's going to figure out that it's a proxy before he starts his Nexus, which is really the important thing. If you start your Nexus in this situation, you're much more likely to die.
Yeah. So, two barracks are coming down. Now the probe scout going into the main will see that there is no barracks here. So obviously once you see that that's not there, you know that you're being rushed.
Yeah. No, you know immediately that this is a proxy build already. And getting up here, just kind of checking, okay, how many gases are there, what's going on. In fact, at this point, he probably realizes that it's a double proxy. And now we're going to have to see how Neeb wants to deal with this. Obviously one base play is pretty smart, but does he get the second gas or not? Yeah.
That SCV, by the way, coming up here now and identifying, all right, this is not a quick Nexus. There'll be a lot of legwork here for the Terran. If this is going to be pulled off, the Marines are coming down now immediately. One bunker thrown down by the pylon.
Yeah, Zealots being made at the moment. Now, if the Zealots can push back the SCVs, they should be able to hold. He needs to put a shield battery down since he put this pylon on low ground. I feel like he really needs to start a battery at least.
There's two immediately started now. A third SCV and 3 Marines total are going to be down here now. And it looks like for the time being, this might be pretty tough to actually eliminate this bunker here. One SCV getting killed off. The Zealot now completely gone on shield. Ooh. Same with the second Zealot. Good kiting so far here by Maru.
Yeah, beautifully done. He is going to end up losing this Zealot and maybe a probe or two while pushing this all back, but he stopped the bunker, which is so important.
Yeah, and without the bunker, it's a lot harder for the Terran to actually sustain anything here. Now, of course, the Marines can kite the Zealot endlessly, but the Stalker is going to be the real threat to the Marines, which will ultimately terminate this rush. And just like all of Maru's proxies, one barracks is lifted to scout, the other one is sent home to go back for production.
Yeah, this is such a common thing. And now Neeb definitely has some control here, right? A very good hold. Of course, he had to buy a couple shield batteries and lost some mining time, lost a few units here and there, but he's got that little bit of a tech advantage right now and obviously a much quicker expansion.
Yeah, Maru looking
well, not much
bad,
quicker,
though.
Just barely quicker,
yeah,
I guess.
Just a little bit. That's one of the things about this rush. Historically, in StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, we'd look at rushes like this and say, it is a double-edged sword. There's risk but there's reward in the risk. In this case, it seems like you can do this build and you're probably not going to lose that much if you can go back and recuperate.
Well, we just saw some great micro out of Maru there. He actually got to pick off one of the stalkers, which was not entirely expected, so kind of cool for him. In the meantime, lands this barracks the main. This is going to block gas mining really well, really slow it down.
And this is just great intuition to look at this and say, oh, okay, wait a minute. There's just one way I can interfere here. And so he's blocked that gas off. Maru being really annoying here in this game. And, of course, it's going to take the Stalker a long time. You can already see how much that makes the probes mine all the way around, whether it's the left side of the barracks or the mineral patches over there.
Yeah, very annoying stuff, and pretty good usage of it. But, you know, overall, it's a pretty close game at the moment. Neeb is mining from his natural at command center, finishing up for Maru in his main as well. Neeb getting that additional scout off, sees the Twilight. Shouldn't be too surprised with that. You know, obviously going into Blink Stalkers after an opening like this seems really smart.
So, as time passes, we're going to have Maru with teching up here. That starport incredibly important here. And we'll see if the Banshees can actually do anything as far as harass goes. You know, Protoss can end up getting ahead of themselves. I mean, this is a very ambitious play here by Neeb to get a third Nexus immediately.
Well, he's reading the situation beautifully, right? There's not that many units out, and Maru actually instantly makes a third command center, not even seeing the third Nexus, but kind of also seeing that this game is not likely to end in a rush anytime soon. Yeah. Now, that Robo's coming out here. Now, just because detection will be available. Actually, I'm sorry, there's no cloak coming here. Excuse me. I was thinking for some reason there's going to be cloak here as well. With no cloak, then, yeah, Stalkers with Blink absolutely counters this. Yeah.
So I think Neeb's handling this pretty well. Now, Maru, even more so than Neeb, is able to keep momentum going to this almost unreal degree, right? I mean, this is how we saw him basically burn out Raynor.
Yeah.
Maru was playing so fast and so well that he had basically consumed the entire map, and it was a Zerg player running around with high tech trying to hold stuff off and unable to harass other expansions. I don't think this is going to be that game this time around. Maru seems to be a little bit on his back foot here after that rush was denied.
Yeah, but following up pretty standardly, right? He's got his third command center quite quickly and going into 3 racks play with his 1-1-1. So the game is like kind of normalizing, obviously with more bases more quickly than you'd think after those openings, but it seems like a relatively even game at the moment.
And that Banshee's going to come around now, right through the bottom. And we're going to see if there's anything really to defend here once it gets past this patio furniture on the map. I think Neeb's pylon just barely, just barely going to see that as that enters in here. Now, Blink is 10 seconds out. The Banshee, of course, is going to 2-shot workers.
So let's see how many he ends up getting. If Blink finishes and he can pick up the Banshee, obviously that's huge.
He might not want to show it right away, too, just in case, you know.
Well, seems like that was pretty decent for the first Banshee. Can't really complain about it. In the meantime, Neeb continued to tech up into his Colossus play. We don't see any forges as of yet, but definitely something he's going to want to think about because Maru already started 2 engineering bays upgrading.
Yeah, that's right. Maru's still invested in a later game despite his third base being a little bit slower. We've got Zealot Legs coming up here now and a robotic support bay here. So we're going to have that Colossus tech in there. And that's really to confront and engage the Marines. If you have enough Colossi, the Marines are immediately obliterated with the laser shots.
Yeah. By the way, the 4th Nexus and Double Forge start. The amount of edges that these two are taking against each other is really awesome to see. You know, 2 players of this caliber that keep realizing, like, you know what, I can do more, I can do more, I can do more, I can do more, I can do more. It's wild.
Okay, so Neeb is getting into a very healthy spot late game. Maru, I think, is also pacing himself quite nicely here. We have the stim a little bit later than you normally expect, but of course Maru's not going to try to attack out after a failed rush like that. And so he can get this stuff in a different order. And this is all going to add together pretty nicely here.
By the way, that one Banshee is being so annoying, just getting to sit there for so long. 3 Stalkers and an Observer on Banshee duty at the moment. Neeb going to send a hallucination across the map, see what is going on. I think when he scouts, he's going to realize, oh, yeah, the choices he's made thus far in the game are really nice. But look at Maru's upgrades lining up. 1-1 stim combat shields are all going to be finishing up. He's going to have a reasonably sizable army. When he hits, though, Neeb should have a couple Colossus at least.
Yeah. And now we've got the 5 gates about to finish here. So the gateway explosion is done. and now we're about to have really heavy production. So these two armies have been building up, and we're finally, post that rush, getting close to about 9 minutes here, ready for a full-on fight. And it appears Neeb is going to have to defend this from the very northeast here. As Neeb's been hugging the right side of the map, not really expanding towards the Terran here. But I don't know if he's actually aware of this push coming here. It seems like his army's moving out pretty late. In fact, I think these siege tanks can just set up shop here and probably force a cancel.
This feels like an attack that can even kill his 4th base. And if you kill the 4th base here as Maru while taking your own 4th command center, you're going to be feeling amazing. Look at this. The disables on the Colossus. Beautifully done. Pushing it back. Oh, those force fields, though. So good.
And now we see that great delay there. That's going to allow the Colossus to come back into this. Maru actually pops that right over and continues to push onward here. And I think Maru's going to try to wedge himself up here in this small gap. Another disable on that Colossus. The other one too far in the back.
Oh, man, the disables are definitely very good, but Neeb has bought himself a lot of time here as well. Can he actually end up breaking through? Another round of Zealots being warped in. Charge is done. He has one as well, but Maru has a lot of units left over.
I feel like there's just barely not enough, but hold up, a Colossus is here with that group, and that allows him to target down that tank. But is there enough with the Colossus here? This small infantry army is pulling away. Checking the supplies here, we see that Maru is about 40 supply ahead of Neeb. So even though that seems to be an even exchange with Neeb barely hanging on, the next wave or two, this one here, might be too much.
I tell you, just perfectly executed from Maru, showing his class, showing his strength here. My God, he looks so unstoppable.
Well, I'll tell you, with this much infantry, it's going to be hard to hold off, but 3 Archons could be pretty helpful.
Yeah.
The question really is how well is Maru going to be able to kite this? I'm imagining his macro is going to stay perfect here. By the way, he has taken a 4th base behind this while still threatening Neeb's 4th.
Oh, I know. That is making it so hard. Neeb is not even fully mining here. His Archons are helping out, as you said, but the micro of Maru here is out of control.
Okay, he's taking out all 3 Archons. He's taking out the pylon, and the Warpman will not come. And this means there's a very high chance this base will fall. It is simply another Colossus here to defend, and the Colossus alone is generally not going to cut it. With double Warpins denied there, Maru should be able to wipe out this 4th.
Yeah, maybe Neeb just slightly too greedy this game, taking so many bases. GG is called. And that is that. Maru takes game number 1 in actually a dominating fashion.
Yeah. I do want to point out, I think Neeb, there was the possibility of him actually holding that, but he just did not quite execute that well enough. He did not get his army up to where the infantry was to bait out the disables from the Raven.
Yes.
And so, then Maru got to set up and get his tanks in a good position, and taking out not 1 but 2 pylons where there was a wave warping in. There's a chance that Neeb was hanging on. I didn't get a chance to mention it. I don't think you did either, but there was another base being made at the bottom for Neeb. So there's a chance Neeb holds that off, and it goes back to 4 bases for Terran, 5 for Protoss.
Yeah, it's such an important thing that you mentioned, too. If you don't see them moving out with this Raven-based force, you can't force out the disables. We saw the first 2 disables. He did a beautiful force field wall to buy time, but then there was 2 more, and that's what really won Maru the battle. Now, if he had been out on the map, forced the disables earlier, and then for the second set of disables had gone ahead and made that force field wall, I feel like this is a very holdable push for Neeb.
I think so, yeah.
But well done by Maru, no doubt.
And again, that's Maru starting out with a rush, but showing why the proxy style that he really paved the way for is much safer than other proxies in StarCraft history. We're now going to go into Game 2. Again, this is a best of 3. USA versus South Korea. Right now, South Korea with a 1-0 lead.
All right, we have in the bottom left, Maru. And, of course, in the top right, we've got Neeb. Which, very exciting here at WCG right now. It's getting really hype as we get further on in the tournament.
Yeah, not far from us is a big Warcraft 3 match. And, of course, Warcraft 3 is one of the biggest games in any country in the world here in China.
Yeah, and they've got 2 of their real big legends.
Yeah.
Thu playing against Moon. I think they actually call him TH. I don't know. But
I actually wasn't sure if it's Thu or TH000, but yeah, there's a big Warcraft 3 match going on here. StarCraft 2, we're here in the finals, not grand finals, but the finals of the winners bracket here. We will later on today, I believe about an hour to an hour and a half to 2 hours from when this finishes up, we will have the losers bracket finals there.
Yeah, that's right. Someone will be playing Rainer for a shot to come back and win the finals of the tournament. As of right now, though, Maru is leading kind of as expected for the tournament.
Right.
You know, it's still kind of up in the air who the best player in the world truly is right now. Is it Cyril? Is it Maru?
Yeah, I mean, we had this interesting series of events last year where Cyril dominated everything outside of Korea.
Yeah.
Maru dominating every GSL Code S. But then in the World Finals, it was actually SOS. Should not really be a shocker there, but eliminates Maru. We were all sort of anticipating having Maru and Cyril collide.
Yeah.
But of course, SOS, who's sort of the best at beating basically anybody, and also the two-time former world champion.
I know it. It's crazy.
Completely dunks on Maru there. So now we're back here again, and Maru looking very strong. He's had some bumps in the road at the start of the year here, but things are kind of trucking along.
Yeah, no, he's looking fantastic at the moment, at least in this tournament. Now, the Reaper coming in, getting a little bit of scouting done. There's a Stargate on the way, so that's some good intel there for Maru. It'll be interesting to see if Neeb goes for Phoenixes or for Oracle here. I was talking to Roddy backstage a little bit. He was trying to convince Neeb that you can go Phoenixes against Maru. And Neeb's a little bit nervous because he feels like maybe mech is a good counter to that. And Maru has shown outstandingly strong mech, oftentimes against Phoenix.
It would certainly be problematic, too, if he goes that route. And Maru has already just gotten the answer because that's what he was going to do anyways. You know?
Yeah. And it is going to be Phoenixes.
Okay.
So the big question right now is, does Maru end up going for mech play from here? This is not a map that he mechs on all that often, so I think it's not a bad choice. If you're going to go Phoenixes, maybe go it here. But we'll see momentarily.
Okay, Phoenixes incrementing out one by one, coming across the map here. Maru again, this is sort of one of the safer builds you can go for, basically getting an expansion up and then getting the 1-1-1 setup here. You've got your factory, your starport, your barracks all producing. And you're very neatly fanning out in all three tech directions and kind of getting everything that you want to set up for later on, where a lot of Protoss builds involve choosing one of a tech direction and committing to it, or just lightly committing to it and then getting a second tech up here.
Sure. Well, as of right now, we've seen that Maru has committed into bioplay with that second barracks. So pretty standard, pretty normal stuff. Neeb going to pressure across the map with these three adepts. Of course, he already took a mine hit to a Phoenix, which is a little bit painful. But teching up into his Robo as well.
As is common in TVP, we have Ravens that are going to come out here and possibly be used in combination with the Army for the disables later on against Colossus or anything else that might become a problem in that push.
All right. Just kind of waiting to see exactly where they want to go from here. It's 3 depths, and you're not going to finish that shade. Got to be very careful with it. And the third Nexus coming up.
And a very textbook passive game on both sides here.
Yeah.
We've got that stim coming up here for Maru. We won't see him do anything at all on the map until stim is done. The adepts do come in here, and what was an odd moment there, killing both the being killed by the Widow Mine and also damaging those SCVs. We'll see if he tries to attack into those later on.
Yeah, let's see what else he can actually get done here with the Phoenixes, because those adepts alone, that was kind of weak. Maru generally pretty good defending against this type of thing, and look at that. Maru's defense is pretty stellar here.
And so Neeb, no, that's too bad. Not the end of the world, but certainly it would have been better to not lose that Phoenix there.
Yeah.
But the Phoenixes, they'll stack on top of each other until they stop getting move commands.
Yeah. And obviously when you're recalling, they're going to spread out there. So
right.
I feel like so far, Neeb hasn't really gotten anything done that he wanted to. He's taken a mine hit. He's lost a Phoenix straight up. He lost his 3 adepts, getting much less damage than you want for those 3 adepts. So Neeb going to continue to try to harass a little bit. He has killed some SCVs here and there. He has killed a few units here and there.
Oh, unfortunately, he does not get that Marauder. He's going to get this Cyclone, and will probably not get the Cyclone either.
Yeah.
And, it's, again, not the biggest deal, but really with those Phoenixes, you want to try to do some damage with them if you can, because Phoenixes are like many air units, are the units that can really pay for themselves in dividends as long as you're active with them and you're using them on the map and in hitting different locations.
Totally. Well, right now, you know, going into Colossus Tech, having a third base, Neeb is setting himself up for a position that could be very nice. But at the same time, Maru's finishing up +1 stim combat shields, and he has a Raven against a Neeb that's going to have 1 Colossus, I believe, when this attack hits.
Yeah.
This feels to me like a situation where Maru might just win the game.
Yeah, he might just
It's possible,
wreck here.
for real.
All right, catching this initial Zealot, which only gets 1 swipe off before it's destroyed. That range attack just now finishing. And let's see that disable come out. There it is.
Yeah.
Stim coming. Oh, and there's a gap inside the force fields. Oh, and the Colossus was actually moved into the fight anyways. So not only was it disabled, it was then picked off.
Very rough stuff, and now no Colossus here. Another one is going to pop, and that can help him out a lot here. So maybe with that Colossus he can still do it, but there's another disabled. Down it goes, and Maru continues to push forward.
And I think he's realized he can isolate some of this army down here. There are shield batteries to help assist that. The Colossus is finally able to actually attack again.
Wow, the micro here is just out of control. Brings those Phoenixes back over a mine. Almost nothing left as far as Phoenixes go. And Maru's still with a pretty sizable army in these medevacs.
Maru's got to be careful to not overextend here. There were Phoenixes out. That last one was shot down, and this is going to be a great attack in here. He actually takes out the armor upgrade. Very annoying, as this game is likely to go on for quite a while now. And not having that armor upgrade means you could lose a big endgame fight. That's going to force Neeb to start over there.
Yeah, it feels like, Neeb stayed alive during all this. He lost some key units and whatnot, but, he's continuing forward. It is a real sad moment, though, when he lost that +1 armor. He's already behind an upgrade, and to have to restart, Maru is just going to stay ahead in that regard for a long time.
Okay, medevac's continuing to roam around. We do have one Widowmine just out of range of those units. That would be a really juicy hit if he actually managed to get that. Not clear that Neeb actually saw that over there. And again, we have medevacs continuing to come out. Maru doing really what Maru's done best throughout his entire StarCraft career is keep the action on his opponent's side of the map.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of moments where you really see Maru on the defense.
Yeah, he's keeping that pressure on really beautifully. Oh, no, he does actually end up walking into that Widow mine, so definitely takes a bit of damage. Oh, more mines actually connecting with chunks of his army.
I almost choked on my water when that happened. And now a drop over here. And I don't see enough to defend. The shields are already almost gone.
All right, he is going to come over to try to defend. There are some mines in here, so Neeb taking additional damage. Oh, wow, 6 workers going down.
He's going to get it. Oh, not a bad trade either. I mean, considering he already had so many Widowmine hits on the rest of the army.
Yeah.
I think Maru goes back, washes his hands of that, and then continues to just mass produce, waiting for a push that can actually kill.
Well, he's keeping it on even bases right now, which is just fantastic for him. He's even got his armory finishing up as that +1 armor finishes, so he's going to be able to keep his upgrades flowing. I mean, this is just beautiful play, as per the usual.
Yeah, this is Maru just staying ahead here. Now, Neeb does have a little bit more supply, but if you note the direction Neeb's expanding, which is directly south, it's going to be harder to stop massive drops if the army's not in the right position. But it looks like, in fact, Maru wants to go again. He's going to scan it over here. Now, if Neeb's paying attention to that area, that can telegraph where the drop might be. He sees the army. He decides to boost out and go somewhere else.
That is a scary doom drop right there, no doubt about it. But will he find an actual place to go in? It seems like Neeb is zoning relatively well. He has that fourth base just about to finish.
There might have been a misread here. Neeb actually is going to push out, which means the main base should be vacant of defense.
I think Maru unloaded there, so he's actually just kind of moving up towards the natural right now. Where is Neeb's army? I think Neeb's army's over at the 4th. Oh, he does have some in the main base too, though.
Yeah, but this is going to be targeted. What, about 2 or 3 shots there? And he's on top of the Robo, which has now been destroyed. Now, we're not getting a shot of this with our observer, but there is an attack going down here at the bottom, which I guess we're just not going to see. Sorry, guys, but it looks like that was driven away by the red moving out, so I think Maru right now might be winning on both fronts.
Yeah, it seems that way. Only 6 SCVs going down compared to a Colossus and the Robo being picked off. Very painful stuff here. Now he's got to be careful not to lose a bunch of these medevacs. There's not that many stalkers, though, so it looks like he can pick up and boost out.
Yeah, he ran in a very intelligent direction. Right when the stalkers would have gotten close, he was able to jump south over that ridge where the stalkers couldn't pursue the medevacs any further. And so here was where that attack was happening that we didn't get a chance to look at. But Neeb, it appears that he was held up there. He's going to try to attack in here again, and this may outposition Maru. The first time we're really going to see Maru have to be on the defense.
This is strong, man. Seriously. Maru actually not turning around, so it looks like we might just have a base trade straight up.
I actually was so confident Maru would have to turn around for this. He's already pulling his SCVs, further telegraphing that he's going to enter into a base trade here, sending his workers in that direction. The stalkers blink up. They're on top of the infrastructure.
And you can see that is exactly what Neeb was going for. In fact, he lost extra units getting up here just because he knew he needed to get on top of that production.
Right. Okay, and so Maru's continuing to stim down this over here. Meanwhile, Maru actually hitting this bottom right base.
You know, Neeb is doing a good job getting on top of everything here, but I'm feeling a little bit. Oh, with those Psy Storms, I'm not so sure. I was going to say I felt like Maru might be able to actually win this type of base trade situation, but Neeb definitely weakening his army quite a bit there.
Yep. Maru does have these medevacs that can heal, but, you know, that energy is not infinite. So every time you see a stim, keep in mind when the final fight happens, the energy on the medevacs might just not be there. We have buildings lifting off now. Checking the minerals here. Maru does not have enough to make a command center. Neeb is able to make 2 Nexi if he needs.
Yeah. He's definitely still got a lot. There's a lot of High Templars coming down and just spraying some storms. Good splitting there by Maru, but that's the right type of thing to do from Neeb. If he can hit some decent size storms here, then the army gets more and more weakened, and then maybe Neeb can just fall upon it and crush it.
Yeah, we're still waiting for a few more size storms coming up here. Now, this is a pretty good defensive position. Some of Neeb's money is actually going to warp in a few more units. He has 3 Archons making over here. If Neeb can actually engage this correctly, I don't know if Maru's going to last in this game. Let's find out.
All right, well, he starts to come in here. Some great micro there from Maru. He sets up those liberation zones, kiting perfectly here, picking off as many units as he can, but Neeb's army looks so much stronger.
Looks so much better. I can't imagine executionally how Maru would end up winning this fight, especially without very much room to micro back. I mean, these storms are eventually going to catch everything.
Yeah, the size storm's just wrecking face. Only 3 medevacs getting out. Very little left over here for Maru. He's at less than half the supply of Neeb at this point.
Yeah, and these medevacs, only 1 with actual energy here. Almost shot down, in fact.
Yeah, I don't think he has much left here. I think we'll be seeing a GG pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that means we're going to go to game 3 here.
Yeah, GG. Very close so far. GG is called there.
Great game.
Yeah. Well, you know, Neeb did hold on, and then, you know, it was interesting, though. I appreciate how decisive Maru really was, because Neeb started to attack, and Maru said, no, we're going for it. Going for broke, going to go try to break him. Neeb's army just a little bit too strong at the end of the day, and the fact that he immediately got on top of the barracks, he skipped doing everything else. He just knew he needed to get on top of the production.
He had to sacrifice a lot of units to get on that.
Yeah,
but
he did.
Once you get there, there was no way that Maru was going to be able to get his production out like he needed to. I was actually a little bit surprised to see Maru continue to go across the map, because Maru was so close to home he could have turned around and tried to take the fight. But it's base trades are very tough decisions because everyone is different, and you have to factor in everything that's led up to this game. Where they've expanded, what their comp is versus your comp.
Well, you know what? A lot of times in these base trade scenarios, the Protoss player will take it a little bit slower, trying to utilize their army and not lose too many units. Again, Neeb, he threw away a Colossus and multiple Stalkers, just trying to get on top of those buildings. Now, if he had gone slower, maybe some Liberators come out, some Marauders come out, he holds the top of his ramp. It becomes very cost inefficient at that point for Neeb to break through.
So we're now tied up 1-1. We're going to be hopping into Game 3 in a moment here, but the winner of this is going on to the Grand Finals. The loser is not eliminated. The loser will go down to the loser's bracket, so there's a chance we'll even have a rematch here.
Oh, yeah. I think that there's a really reasonable chance. Raynor is fantastic, but if Maru falls, his TVZ looked unbeatable.
Yeah. And even with Raynor outclassed, I guess we're going to hop into the game. All right, let's go. And by the way, we have an immediate SCV sent out. It's Neeb at the top left, Maru in the bottom right.
Yeah, so it seems like Maru is going to do maybe just a single proxy barracks, maybe just, a proxy Reaper, slow Neeb down a little bit, throw Neeb off. Of course, he already did a double proxy barracks, so if Neeb overreacts, that becomes a problem as well.
This is also something that sets in nicely into the best of threes.
Yeah.
You play one way in game 1, and then, for instance, in game 3, it looks like it could start out to be the same thing when, in fact, it's not.
Yeah.
There's the gas being taken.
Yeah, it definitely looks like right now it'll probably be a proxy Reaper into a factory, maybe into a command center from there.
Right.
So, this is just to kind of throw your opponent off a little bit.
That probe now headed southbound over to get into Maru's base.
Oh, it should be mentioned, by the way, that, we are on King's Cove. This is a map where Maru goes mech almost every single game against Protoss.
That's a good point.
Almost every Korean Terran actually goes mech on this map.
Yeah. But this might be him trying to play around the very fact of that,
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
There's also, guys like this who occasionally engage each other in tournaments. There might be little mind games going on there, just between them we don't really get to see. And so we have a Nexus coming down. And Neeb is still not 100% clear on what's happening. We see the factory being made over there. The Reaper is about to pop out.
It seems like Neeb is handling this reasonably well at the moment. He's not overreacting. He's getting a pretty quick Nexus, and he should be able to hold that without any problem.
We have a bunker coming down here not far from the pylon and the Nexus at the natural expansion. The Reaper will pop up into the main and probably come down there later on.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny watching that bunker get made, I got to tell you, because, what is that really going to do? I think he's trying to fish for an overreaction. It doesn't seem like Neeb's going to give it to him.
Occasionally you'll have players that panic, especially against people, the caliber of Maru. But no, it's a completely manageable situation. So while most bunker rushes look to be terrifying, this is actually not the case at all.
Yeah, not too much. A couple Reapers in there, it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, that is annoying.
It's annoying, yeah.
And Neeb is making 2 shield batteries total. So that's like a pretty heavy defensive commitment. But that will help him to micro this down, right? If you have the shield. Oh, wow. He's actually being a little bit sloppy there. Wow.
Half health on that Stalker is actually pretty bad.
Yeah, he's actually adding a 3rd shield battery, which I definitely disagree with. You do not need that. But maybe he thinks that, there will be a Cyclone on the way or something like that.
And you can see Terran's not really losing anything for doing this.
No, very little.
Terran is going to expand. It is going to be later. So as the game develops further, we're going to see if this was really worthwhile endeavor for Maru.
Yeah, and he sees actually that it's a Stargate on the way. So not the quickest Stargate. You should be able to defend that reasonably well. Now, does Maru go into mech from here? Especially seeing Stargate, especially because it's King's Cove?
I'd like to see him do it.
Those are scenarios he almost always does it under.
We do have a medevac coming out here pretty quickly. And 2 command centers being made.
Yeah, triple CC.
Which really doesn't tell us what unit composition he's got yet, but it does tell us he's confident he's not going to be attacked anytime soon here.
Okay, I can't believe he got both those away.
Yeah, that is dirty.
I cannot even, that is so precise. He was barely out of range on both of them.
Right.
So yeah, the Oracle coming up right now. Viking on the way. We should see very quickly here whether it's going to be mech or bio coming up also.
And so we've got more Reapers coming up again, those same 2. Looks like this is finally going to be... No, it's not. One of these is at least going to get away.
Maybe he caught the other one with a Stalker. I'm not sure. But
oh, yeah. No, something killed it because it's not on the mini-map anymore. Now, here comes that Widow Mine drop. And we don't really have anything to spot for this. Good pick up there by the Phoenix.
Yeah, and look at that. He's actually trying to reposition this mine. Trying to get the best shot he possibly can. Retargeting massively. Look at those retargets. Hey, he got about as much out of that as he really could, to be honest. A probe and a Stalker.
The Phoenix is continuing to chase the medevac down. I believe the Oracle's coming in here now. Yes, that's going to be hitting some SCVs that are over here. A Viking will come out along with a Cyclone. That should make the Cyclone go down.
Down goes the Oracle. All right, the medevac going to fall as well, though. Too bad. And Phoenixes continue to be made. Maru, though, not yet showing exactly what he wants to do tech-wise. We haven't seen a second barracks. We haven't seen a second factory. But he is taking more gases. That makes me really believe that it probably is going to be mech.
Yeah, no, it looks like it's going to be mech. No.
Never mind.
Never mind. Yeah, they're the barracks coming down now. The Raven very late to come out, but it will eventually be a factor. Maru's going to have a huge amount of growth coming up here.
Yeah.
With the 3 command centers, the Protoss really not able to do that much. Looks like we might have an attack coming out here from Neeb, but I don't know if this is going to get in there and really hurt him that much.
I want to mention it's a little bit interesting, right? Maru not going mech in a situation where he oftentimes does, but Neeb did beat his mech on Thunderbird yesterday, so maybe feeling like Neeb is very good against that unit composition.
Oh, wow,
no.
and he did not get the tank, and he's going to lose all 3 Stalkers.
Oh, very painful right there. Well,
so that's healed back
score
up
one
full.
Maru.
Yeah, it's a little victory, but sometimes you only need a few of those before it pans out into the big picture here.
Okay, well, Neeb has that third nexus about to finish. He's actually going Glaives in +1.
Yeah.
We don't see that very often in this matchup anymore.
Yeah, this
Adept
is an
Phoenix
unusual
almost.
play. Well, I think that this might even be a reaction to the mess up early on, where he says, "Okay, let's go for something
maybe
a little bit
yeah,
weird
I could see
here."
that. Yeah.
You know, you certainly wouldn't expect it a glaive adept attack after a failed little attack like that. And sometimes when you're against someone as good as Maru, you know, because they might cut corners here and there, this could actually work. But Maru is already about to attack. He's got his Raven, he's got the Vikings, the Cyclones.
Yeah.
And the Marines, the tanks. He's going to come across the map, and he wants to pick a fight here. There's only one Immortal that I can see.
Yeah, this is making it really hard. Gets some lock-ons, but will he kill anything? Yeah, gets a sentry there. It's kind of big. Looks like he's going to thread on some bunkers as well. Maru looking so strong right now.
And you know what? This glaive adept attack is never even going to factor in here because the third base has already been destroyed. And now it's a 3-base Maru versus a 2-base Neeb here. And look at this. He's so good.
Oh, my gosh.
The moment he kills the Nexus, he just immediately leaves, saying, no, I am only going to get further ahead at this point in time. There is no need.
Well, that area holds nothing of value anymore, so immediately abandoning it is a very, very smart move.
Setting up down here is really smart, right?
Yeah.
Much harder to deal with here. He can also monitor and check if he's going to try to expand out here. He can hit the batteries, the pylons, everything else, further putting pressure on Neeb.
Well, he's getting as many adepts as he can at the moment. His +1 is not done, so this is not even an ideal time to attack as of yet, but you know, he doesn't have much left to him. Warping in some more adepts here.
Here we go. The Phoenix is coming in from behind. The Warp Prism comes up. Auto turrets are placed down.
Yeah, the auto turret's definitely going to help out quite a bit. He lifted those tanks for a while. Now the Marines getting back and actually targeting down some of these Phoenixes. And Maru just trying to be as efficient as possible.
Okay, there is a very injured Immortal inside that Warp Prism. He's got to be careful. Looks like it's only tanks remaining.
Yeah, Neeb will come out and help to clean that up.
That was beautifully done. Adept Glaive attack is there. I think Maru might have overextended. He won that fight at the third. I don't think he needed to go back. In fact, I said he's going to go ahead and back up now that he's killed that.
Yeah.
And then he actually looped around to the bottom. I thought, okay, he knows better than me, but then you see Neeb barely hold that off.
Sure. Notice, though, that Maru immediately pulls away from his third. He realizes, okay, not enough to hold on there, making a full wall over here so the depths cannot just shade in.
Okay, and he also can go for an elevator play here.
Yeah, that's true.
He can just boost these right up here.
But Stim is done. He's got some siege tanks here as well.
Yeah, this isn't quite working. In fact, we're seeing a lot of these units diminish here on the high ground as Maru was pretty quick to take control of that area and not allow his production to be threatened. He could actually bulldog on top of the tanks if he wanted to. There's actually no infantry down there, but
yeah, that's true.
It's a little bit crazy by me. Maybe not the best decision.
Yeah, well, with his War Prism so low and his life on the line here, you know, I think he's waiting for a little bit better place. Now, it looks like Maru getting ready, scouting at minimum here with this command center, seeing what's up. I don't think Neeb can. I don't think he should finish a shade, to be honest.
No, I don't think so.
Like
I think he saw there was an opportunity, and now that you know the Terran got that walling up earlier, he says, "Okay, this is over."
This makes
Let's
it
not
tough.
overextend.
It makes it really tough because the Adepts don't really scale that well compared to something like Zealots or Stalkers.
No, the Adepts are very. There's a very important point in the game where they're supposed to be used, and this is actually a total blunder here.
Yeah,
he should never have done that.
He's losing so much.
He did not even trade anything for that. I don't think a single Terran unit was killed in that moment.
I think he was trying to fake a shade there, or maybe he assumed that the entire army would go up to deal with the Prism. But either way, Neeb's army is tiny now. He's going up into DT tech, so that might be his last big hurrah in this game.
So the Army's coming out. And I'm getting a little bit worried here. Neeb's supply went down so fast, and his tech is so just not proper for a game that's going to go on for a little bit. I don't know really how we can expect Neeb to come back here. I mean, what Maru will 100% do is mass up a bigger army, come out here and push. And Neeb is going to have Dark Templars.
Yeah, I guess we
Maybe
just get to
some
see how
Archons?
well this will go. 8 DTs being made. Well,
This is sort of a make a wish, man.
yeah,
It
that's
might,
about
I
it.
mean, it might work, but it's a long shot. Wow,
Yeah.
good recall right back there. But doesn't Terran actually have too much? Does it, Protoss just
I
lose
think
their
so.
army?
I think that everything is going poorly for Neeb right now, but let's see what his DTs do. It looks like there are actually plenty of scans and plenty of units.
Now, it's a lot of DTs, which is a lot of damage, but usually if you have scans, especially against stim units and tanks, you kind of just murder the DTs before they do much of anything.
But he gets a lot of them out of the scan vision. So maybe there's still something there. He can also warp some in defensively over here to try to deal with this army. But look at those differences in supply. It really feels like Maru's got him.
There it is, GG. Maru wins 2-1. South Korea conquering the USA.
That's right. So Maru goes into the grand finals for tomorrow, but Neeb is not out of the tournament yet. He gets to play against Raynor in the loser bracket final to see who's going to fight Maru for the WCG championship in 2019.
I'm looking forward to casting that as well, and we're going to be doing that later on today here.
Yes, the loser match, the grand final will be tomorrow, but Maru's made it. I think that's what people expected. I think he's kind of the most feared player out there right now. And while Neeb had, Neeb did beat him in a base trade that one game. The other two games looked pretty Maru favored.
Yeah.
And both of Maru's games against Raynor looked very Maru favored. So looking at it overall, he's still really, it feels like a Maru victory, right?
It does. It really does. It was cool to see that Neeb did manage to take one game off of Maru, but, you saw the flaws in Neeb's play there. I mean, there were definitely some mistakes, definitely some bad engagements, and Maru is pretty close to flawless in almost all of his games.
I know.
Most of his games we cast, they're not really back and forth. And that's basically what we had in both the Raynor game and in the Neeb game.
Yeah. Well, so there we have it. What do you think about Raynor versus Neeb?
I'm excited for it. I don't really know what to expect.
Seems like it's going to be a close series, to be honest.
It should be.
I'm leaning just a little bit towards Neeb. Just a little tiny bit.
I am too, and that's mostly because I've been so impressed with him specifically at this event.
Okay. Thing is, Raynor did just win WCS, but Neeb put up a very good series against Cyril in that, right?
I'm fine with it going either way.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you, though. I feel like maybe a little bit more Neeb. Maybe a lot of the viewers are disagreeing with us, but...
Well, Raynor is so ridiculously strong, and
so
you can't argue with winning WCS
I suppose
like last week.
Some of my attitude on this is colored from the Maru Raynor games, where Neeb looked to have a better shot at beating Maru. Anyways, we're going to a break, and we come back. Our final best of three for today, and then tomorrow, the grand finals for the WCG 2019 StarCraft Invitational.